Hi folks, welcome back to the Hoard. Got a nice hot humid one out here today. I'm a bit of a mess. I got a couple of days ago, I was out in the barn looking for some wood, 2x10 to be specific, and I think I got bit by a spider on the ankle. So I kind of limped through that yesterday. And now I find myself with a stiff neck, sore back. I think I'm running a bit of a fever. I'm just kind of a mess today. But, you know, you got to kind of tough your way through this stuff if one is going to get anything done. And here's today's adventure. I bought this traffic sign, God, must be 10 years ago now. It's been a while. And I'll show you the whole thing set up. You know, it's folded down right now. You can see the blinky lights up on top. I mean, it's interesting. Looks like it was made in 1996. So I probably bought it like in 86. There's the VIN number and all that stuff. And it's got a, what is that, a Lombardini. It's not Lamborghini, it's Lombardini diesel. There's the serial numbers on it. And I'm videotaping this for two reasons. One's for you guys, and one's for myself. Made in Italy. I actually had this thing running probably about 10 years ago. I gotta put a battery in it and see if she'll fire up again. The tank's on the bottom. You can see where the hoses come up through there. I gotta, once again, gotta put a battery in it. I'm not quite sure how big this alternator is. Just for a laugh, if you call it a 1,000 watts, which is what, divide that by 12, 84 is 7 times 12, 70 amps, you know, 80 amps is, what, 96, so if you call it an 80 amp alternator, so that'd make it about 1,000 watts. I mean, what is it, 776, call it 800 watts per horsepower. You would only need a couple of horsepower to drive it. This motor looks a lot bigger than a couple of horsepower. Sometimes you can figure out the horsepower by the size of the shaft. I think that's like a 3/4 inch shaft. I'll look up the numbers and all. My guesstimate is, you know, this is, you know, 7 horsepower diesel, 8, 6, between 6 and 10, let's go that way. Call it 8 plus or minus 2. I wanted to dig this out because I'm also trying to figure out what I want to do with this whole mess. It's only got 5-bolt tires on it. I actually have 2 of these. I have this one, and I have another one that the sign is removed from the top. I have the engine, I have the trailer, but the sign's off the top. These were a Craigslist deal, as I recall, and I think I paid like $250 for this one, and I wanted the other one also for spare parts. More bees flying around. I think I would have learned. So once again, there's this one, and then there's another one without the sign that is for spare parts. And the pair of them used to belong to one of the local town engineers. And what he would do is some projects that are done locally are done by, town people, and some projects that are done by outside contractors, and they were required to give some of the work to contractors that weren't huge contractors, so they didn't necessarily have everything. And I guess he got these at an auction somewhere, and he used to rent it out to the smaller contractors. And I guess 10 years ago was when the battery powered ones were just starting to kind of come out. The ones with the I'm going to go under there to roll that down, and the bee's going to fall right down my back, right? You guys know that. Anyway, they were just starting to come up with the ones for that solar with battery powered type things, or LEDs. You go back to 2006, LEDs were just beginning to really get mass produced. So these noisy, smelly guys no longer had much of a need. Also, you got to figure, if you're running them on LED on a battery and changing the battery every day, go with the rechargeable battery that you're changing every day. Even if you got to smash a solar panel up on them, they're also cheaper to build, right? I mean, a small diesel motor, major part of $1,000. You still got to put the alternator and the lights and all together. So I guess you still need the lights, but with LEDs, it's a little more expensive to put those things together with LEDs in them, but not like crazy much more expensive. You probably mass produce them, get them out there fairly reasonable. What I want to do is drag this thing out of here. I'm trying to clean up behind the sheds a little bit. You guys could see I had to rip things up. This is actually the second video. The first video I went to tow it out of here and I couldn't get it to come loose. So I do want to clean up behind these sheds. Try to move some of the wildlife a little further back in the backyard. So that's traffic sign number 1. Show you traffic sign number 2. There's actually hour meters on these things, and I don't want to go through that brush, but there's the second one back there. Now that I've been stung by a wasp and bitten on the ankle by a spider, anytime I touch grass or anything, I'm like all paranoid and jumpy. Anyhow, yeah, I think I'm feeling well enough where I can get that thing moving. Boy, when I first got out here, I felt like heck. Yeah, there you go. Everybody needs one of those Easy Strider bicycles. Before I could get it loose, I had to cut all the grass. There's just one more thing I want to check. I remember the other one had a lot of hours on it. Yeah, I guess this one has 1,000. I think the other one might have had somewhere closer to 5,000. I'd love to go in there and check, but I know I'm going to get ripped up by something. It has the graffiti on it. It says it J.C. Smith in Syracuse. Anyway, folks, hope you enjoyed the video. Kind of unique how many people have a traffic sign. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Remember to keep your feet down, keep your heads up, and please get out there and enjoy all your days. Take care now, folks.